Hi everyone, it's Tiffany with Ready Set Create. Welcome back to my 12 by 12 days of Christmas. I'm showing you 12 days of tips, tricks, and techniques for your holiday scrapbook layouts. Today is day 2. Let's get started. For this layout, I was inspired by the song My Favorite Things, and in particular the line Raindrops on Roses and Whiskers on Kittens. I was listening to that song and it made me think of a Boardermaker cartridge that I have that is the Rose Chain. It's an older cartridge I got probably 5 or 6 years ago. Not available anymore, but you might be able to find it on an In Search Of site. So I am cutting a jumbo circle out of the green cardstock, and then I'm going to be creating a circular chain with the Rose Boardermaker cartridge. And so I used the red blade to cut out the circle, and now I'm marking it at, if this was a clock, I'm marking it at 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, and then at the points in between as well, just making a little mark with a pencil so that I can see where I need to cut. And this is the Rose Boardermaker cartridge that I'm popping in there. And then I'm going to, the best I can, line up that mark with the halfway point in the cartridge. And then I'm just going to go around the circle and I'm going to cut at all of those marks that I made. Now this isn't perfect. It's going to be a little funky in a couple of spots, but I can cover that up with embellishments. If you try this yourself with your Boardermaker system, it works best with the chain, or you can do it with some of the topper cartridges as well. And you just have to practice to get the size right, because sometimes you're going to need a bigger or smaller circle to get things to line up the best. So just practice with scrap paper and give it a try. It's a really fun way to add using your Boardermaker system in a different way on your layouts. It's one of my favorite things to do. So perfect for the My Favorite Things song. So now I'm just going back and I'm punching in between all of those segments. I have these little wedges left, so I'm punching those. And this is where the roses don't match up perfectly, but that's okay. And making that last cut. And now I'm going to grab my micro tip scissors. Oh, not yet. I'm going to grab my red paper and I'm going to grab the rest of the Boardermaker system and pop that piece of red in. And I'm going to punch out a row of roses. Clear that scrap out of the way first. So this is the standard way you would use your Boardermaker system. And I am just punching a row of roses out of the red cardstock. And now I'm going to grab my micro tip scissors and I'm going to clean up that circle and just cut any of the little pieces. There's a couple little wedges in between some of the segments that I need to cut away, and some just stray pieces that didn't completely punch away from the paper. So I'm just going to clean that up the best I can. And I'm using this piece of wood grain paper that's from an old collection. I think it was called Winter Woodlands, maybe. Just an old one in my stash. I'm trying to use up some papers that I've been kind of holding on to forever. And I'm using repositionable to put on the back of the roses. And then I'll place that down, centering it the best I can on the layout. And this is where I remembered that I wanted to use some scrap. So this was a scrap that was in that same Winter Woodland package. And it was just a small, like 3x12 piece of paper. It was kind of torn at the bottom. So just as is, I pulled it out of the pack and I'm going to put it down on the paper. I have another scrap that I'm going to use. It's just a 1-inch piece of florals that was really pretty. And I thought, oh, I'm going to use that too because it has the right colors. And just to add another touch of color. So now I'm ready to put that wreath down. And now I'm just going to use my microchip scissors to cut a few red roses, just so I have some single roses, and I'm going to use those to cover up any of the kind of funky spots on the wreath where the rose punch didn't quite match up. So I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive to the back of each one of these and just place them around the wreath. And doing this not only adds, covers up those mistakes, but it also adds a nice pop of color to the wreath and just kind of reinforces that Christmassy feeling. I don't think you'd normally think of roses as a Christmassy kind of layout, but I think this is really adding to it and making it more holiday. Kind of like a little puzzle getting these the right way because you have to kind of flip them around until they match up properly. And now that I'm looking at this, I think I need another one down towards the bottom, and you'll see when I cover it up with my photos, I cover up one of the roses, so I'll probably go back and add a few more to the wreath. So I'm just grabbing, I had that journaling card that I had already pulled, and then grabbing my photo mats. I have a 4x6 and thinking I might overlap that. And I'm going to stick that down. And so my idea for this layout, because it's my favorite things, I'm going to take a couple of pictures around the house of some of my favorite decorations. So I decided I wanted to make room for another small photo. So I just changed my placement of the mat so that I could add that small little 3x4. And the 4x6 card, I could certainly put 2 3x4s in that place as well. And now I'm just going to adhere that journaling card. And I'm going to do another handwritten title today. I really like using my own handwriting for titles because I just think it adds that nice personal touch, especially thinking of me leaving these for generations to look at, it'll be nice to have my own handwriting on the layouts. So with the wide end, I wrote the word family in cursive, and then with the fine tip, I'm just writing these are a few of my across the top, and then underneath favorite, I'm going to write things. And then I'm just going to add a quick underline under each one of those, just to add another something to it. And now this little bow was in my ribbon stash. I grabbed it off of a gift basket that I got last year and pulled that little twist tie off of there. And I don't normally add these kinds of flourishes, these kind of big things to my layouts, but I feel like Christmas layouts, you can add all the extra bling and all the extra fibers and ribbons and glitter and all those things, because it's Christmas time and you can do that. So I just put a dollop of liquid glue down there, and then I'm just trimming this bow because a wreath has to have a bow. So I save a lot of ribbons that I get from gift cards, gift baskets and things like that, and I have a whole drawer full of different ribbons. So there it is. That's my favorite things layout. Thank you so much for joining me for day 2 of 12 by 12 Days of Christmas. Bye-bye.